Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, here with Drummond, Syracuse alum, CFL and the NFL. Your Philadelphia Eagles obviously didn't go up and get Marcus Mariota. You're very upset about that. Understood, because, as you said, you do not believe the starting quarterback for the Eagles is on the team right now. Sam Bradford, Tim Tebow, and Mark Sanchez currently. Myself here, Dan Tortora, here with you. Tilted Kilt, Syracuse, live on site. For those watching and listening in, you can come out to 3019 Erie Boulevard East. Drink specials, drafts for the draft, as well as happy hour 11 a.m. to 1 a.m. for the first day and second day of the NFL draft. Very happy to be bringing you our analysis of it. Rob and I worked together for a while. Very happy everybody that's out here. We talked about Jameis Winston to the Bucs first. Titans taking Marcus Mariota. Like I said, I'm still not sold that that's not a trade sometime soon. Dante Fowler Jr. going to the Jaguars third, and Amari Cooper fourth to the Raiders. Now to talk about the picks outside of that. Brandon Sheriff goes to the Redskins. He's an offensive tackle out of Iowa. This was a surprising pick to me, but Zach Martin last year goes to the Dallas Cowboys. So obviously there's importance there. They have protection. They can run the ball, even though they don't really have a good guy to run the ball now, but they let DeMarco Murray go. But there's been talk that Washington kind of saw this and was like, okay, we need to get some protection, but them as well, none of their running backs really came to play last year, so yeah, you're protecting, but I guess it's a good thing in the sense of protecting Robert Griffin III, but running back-wise, you almost wonder what they're going to do with that.
Morris, he had a great rookie year, and he just fell out. But I think Washington was taking that pick, got back to the old days when they used to pound the ball with John Riggins on the thoroughbred. They had the hard stuff, they just put these big, sleepy guys who are athletic and just push you out of the way. With Morris behind him, I think the Redskins are going to get back to that mold until they can mold RGB along. And with a guy who's a lot bigger like that, and really looking for more protection, I think RGB is a lot more comfortable back there.
Talked about the Eagles not having their starting quarterback in your mind or my mind right now on the team. Is RG3 the right quarterback for Washington?
It's hard to say. They have Cousins there who's a very good quarterback also. And when he's looking over his shoulders, you think he's go out there and want to perform, but it just seems that Robert is just hadn't got comfortable. Just dealing with the coaches and they're not liking him, or they're liking him, and they're extending his contract, and they're guaranteed to be here because he's guaranteed $16 million. So, I can't say right now that Robert Griffin III is the quarterback for the Boston Redskins.
We look forward to the next pick. The New York Jets, who need help. Geno Smith, you and I have agreed, is not an NFL quarterback. He is not. To me, obviously he had a high-powered offense with West Virginia in college. But when he played Syracuse, you saw how quickly a good defense could beat him. There wasn't a lot of good defenses in the Big 12 that were going up against West Virginia. It was 70 points, 60 points, 50 points, a lot of 40-point-plus games for Geno Smith. When it came to the NFL, I think it was a rude awakening. He really has nobody to throw to. You and I thought maybe go wide receiver, Kevin White, West Virginia, reunite the guys. They end up going with Leonard Williams, defensive end from USC. What do you think about this pick, knowing that they have Muhammad Wilkerson, who they got just a few years back, and they have guys on the defensive line? So what your thoughts are with their pick?
A talented player, he'll fit in with the Jets team, but once again, the Jets always surprise me. They look at the most surprising way because they make some picks and just off the wall. As you said before, with that quarterback who's struggling, why does he get to a top 5 receiver? Look at the New York Giants last year, Odell Beckham, and that surge he gave that Eli Manning to give him more than he did. So sometimes the Jets just surprise me with it.
Geno Smith, we don't believe he's the guy. Michael Vick wasn't the guy. What do the Jets do right now? Because maybe they didn't draft a wide receiver because they don't know what the heck to do at quarterback.
I think they're in the same boat as the Eagles. I don't think the starting quarterback is going to really carry the Jets to that next level on the team right now also. But you know what? The Jets need to know that to live in.
Kevin White goes after Leonard Williams. So after in Mike Mayock when he had his predictions out, other people I think like you and I talked about with our thoughts that Kevin White would have made sense going to the Jets. He drops to the Chicago Bears, who I think Chicago gave a huge thank you. The hometown crowd very happy with getting Kevin White, West Virginia wide receiver. What do you think about Chicago picking up Kevin?
Very, very talented receiver. Kevin White. explosive. He gets up the ball. He's what we call, he's not a body catcher, which means he doesn't let the ball come to his body and catch it with his hands. Herman Moore years ago used to do that all the time. Always take his hands away from his body and catch the ball. And always gets the ball with higher points, which makes him very, very good and talented receiver.
Bringing up Herman Moore, Detroit Lion, back in the day, collected his cards, a great player. I think comparing him to Herman Moore is a huge thing. But what do you see? And I know you said he doesn't catch it against his body, catches it out. Is there anything else you see that links him to some of the guys that you've seen in the NFL?
He's got that attitude of just wanting to go in there and be humble. You know what I'm saying? He's incredible. You know, he's very, very humble, young man. He needs to settle. So get in there, give it in, hope he has himself, and go out there and try and earn and work for everything I did. I can respect the girl like that.
Next pick was the 8th pick, outside linebacker, Vic Beasley. A lot of Syracuse fans know Vic because Vic plays for Clemson. He's obviously a very ferocious defensive player, and he was the guy that Sean Hickey, as I said earlier, was holding off and keeping away from Syracuse quarterback. So I think Sean Hickey as an offensive lineman deserves to go pretty high somewhere. I mean, not the first round, but I think he deserves to go on day 2 in the second or third round, because if you can stop a guy like Vic Beasley, you got to respect that. Vic's an outside linebacker. Marquise School from Syracuse goes in the 5th round last year as an inside linebacker to Atlanta. You got to figure that Marquise is pretty happy knowing that Vic could be on the outside. And I would venture to say he's going to start.
He's got to be very happy. He's definitely going to start. But you know what? The drafting in the first one, there's a huge difference between the 3-4 screen and the 4-3 screen. And it's like them drafting him in the 3-4 screen, just lets you know how fast he's done that. And Vic Beasley gets off the ball very, very fast. His problem is when you watch him, he takes plays off. He's not going to be able to take plays off at the next level. He's a great draft pick. But at this point now, you're playing with the big boys now. This is not college anymore. This is not a joke. This is a job. You know, you get paid to do this. You get there, and we're like anyone who's going to leave for 6 o'clock at night. It is a JOB. People don't understand that. These guys just watch my son, and they're running for our days. They don't even know. We're there on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, like any other regular job. It's a job. You know, and you don't perform well on the job, we're going to do it. Look at the next person to come in and replace you. So, time to go up.
Atlanta going defense, is that something that made a lot of sense to you? I mean, Keith Brooking was the last real strong linebacker I feel like they had. Was this the right decision to make to try and get some Atlanta fans back and excited about the team?
I'd say I also didn't see them needing for a particular running back. You know, because I first thought when Steven Jackson went first, I thought that's all they needed. But Steven Jackson's been not timing out, not seeing him doing much longer like we were talking about earlier. You know, from that standpoint, they had the receivers, they had the quarterback. So now get no people. There's no smart quarterback.
We look at the next one, 9th pick, Eric Flowers going to the Giants. He's an offensive tackle. So we see the Redskins get Brandon Sheriff as an offensive tackle. Then we see the Giants get Eric Flowers as an offensive tackle. Last year, the Cowboys' first round got Zach Martin, offensive tackle. So the NFC East seems to want to protect for that run game and get that run game going. What do you think about the pick by the Giants?
Very good pick by the Giants. I told you when we were talking before, I just think the NFC East is going to get back to that ground and pound style that you know that the Eagles, the Cowboys, the Giants, the Redskins used to have. They line up, run the ball through the court, you know. We need to throw it to the receivers, we want to do some physically first. So offensive line and where you want to start, so you want to do some physically.
We look at the next pick, first running back off the board. Last couple of seasons, it's been kind of strange. Running backs going in the 2nd round early or late in the 2nd round, not going until the 3rd. We've seen running backs fall where it used to be a running backs league, then it turned into a passing league. Todd Gurley goes in the top 10. He goes to the St. Louis Rams out of Georgia. He's obviously coming off of an injury, an ACL tear, but they still wanted him, they still got him. And the Rams made this move where the Rams have tried to do some things in the past, but Zach Stacy had some flashes, wasn't that great. Benny Cunningham didn't do a lot of great things. Tavon Austin, he's a short receiver, could play inside, could be an H-back, don't really know where to put him right now. So to me it makes sense when they went after a running back. Gurley seems like a gritty guy. What do you think about their pick?
Great pick by the Rams. The Rams is a very, very good offensive line. Gurley doesn't have any, personally, I just think Gurley is probably one of the best talent. Any other draft year, you got him in 1, 2, or 3. He's that talented. Late in the league, kept us very good doing some special things, breaking Herschel Walker's record. But Gurley is big, he's strong, he's fast, he's athletic. He runs with power, he runs with vision, he runs with finesse. Every intent that he has in the running back, he has it. It's a great pick up of the draft.
Todd Gurley over Melvin Gordon, right or wrong?
Yeah, that's the right choice. Melvin Gordon is talented as he is, I would take Todd Gurley. For the simple fact that I'm not a big SEC fan, but I think SEC is just a tougher conference. Playing head-to-head, he always went up against some of the very good, some of the guys who should come up the quarter now and did very well against us.
And we look to outside of the top 10, Trey Waynes, 11th pick cornerback, going to the Vikings from Michigan State. You talked about the Michigan State when we were off the air for a little bit. You talked about Michigan State and how strong of a defense they had this past season. Trey Waynes, a corner. Minnesota has a good young quarterback, Teddy Bridgewater. We don't know what they're going to have, Adrian Peterson or not Adrian, at the time of the draft right now. They need some help at wide receiver. They had nobody last year. Greg Jennings was a shell of himself from Green Bay. But was it the right thing to do to go for a corner?
I mean, their corners aren't that good. He can pick up a very, very good man-to-man cover corner. He definitely take it. But the man I tell you is a simple fact that he's not aggressive enough. He's not physical enough. As I said before, he's going to have to grow up now because this is college football. This is the pros. You have to play every day in and day out, every day. So get a lot more physical because he's definitely have to make up speed and he has to cover skills.
The next two picks that were in while we were talking, Cleveland Browns, who didn't trade up to try and get Mariota. They go 12, Danny Shelton, who is a defensive tackle / nose tackle, and then just picked by the Saints is offensive tackle Andres Peat. So it's, obviously defensive line, offensive line, we've seen a switch. We've seen that this is the way that teams are going now. They want to protect their quarterback and they want to get after the opposing quarterback. That seems to be the big thing. When I've talked to people in the past, they told me, I talked to some people I trust that are close to sports and even with Will Hicks here at Syracuse, he said, a team will live and die by the offensive, defensive line. Syracuse coaching staff said the same thing to me. Defensive line coach Tim Dow said, listen, you build from your D-line and your O-line out. If you don't have that, you have absolutely nothing. So what do you think about so many offensive tackles going? Is this the right thing to do? Do you agree with the Tim Dowse and Will Hicks and so on?
I see it's just a change in the guard. You look at what the Cowboys did last year with Robert Murray. That offensive line is unbelievable. The teams have to understand running was game, not throwing the ball. Look what happened to Seattle when they had the Super Bowl. They run that ball, they win. They decided to go, and they lost the game. So if you get to a big, strong offensive line, you pound the ball very close. If you get to a big, strong defensive line that's aggressive, you can stop the run. So that's the trend that seems to be setting. We seem to be getting to around this generation.
I want to look at statistically really quick here before we take another step aside. Amir Abdullah, running back out of Nebraska, statistically based on the stats analysis that you did, he is the number one running back. Do you see him going in the first round, or is there a chance he could fall to the first few of the second round?
Anything's possible right now. The Dallas Cowboys are coming up, and I don't think Stab is running back to the future. So if you give him Gordon, I'd take him over Gordon. I like Gordon a lot. Amir is just one of those explosive. He's a step behind, Gurley at this point that field. He's a powerful, small running back that runs his speed, has his acceleration, agility. He's just someone who's very, very impressive. The Cowboys are the best of Gurley.
And I think with the Cowboys dipping down here a little bit later on in the first round, if they get Amir Abdullah fall to them, all of a sudden you miss DeMarco Martin. Now DeMarco's a great player, but if you get Amir Abdullah, it's like you save some money without having to go after an Adrian Peterson. I think it's the best case scenario. If I was the Cowboys, I would go after and I would take a running back. I know some people are talking about safeties, corners, and whatnot. To me, you take a running back, you give Zach Martin somebody to block for that's not Derek McFadden.
I agree. That offensive line, you definitely get to a top 10 running back. It's pounded down the field like they did last year. A lot of Cowboys fans, but I understand the football. They get a top 10 running back. It's not McFadden. It's the same thing we did last year. They're best on the outside. He's going to take up everything. He's going to run another running back and run the ball down the field.
Philadelphia Eagles didn't go get Mariota. What is their biggest need? I know we talked about quarterback, but I would think they're not going to go after a quarterback right now. Who do you think they're going to take in the first round? What position makes sense to you?
Honestly, the winning division is Des Bryant, Deshaun Jackson, Odell Beckham. You have to go after a top-tier lockdown cornerback. You have to get a corner that can cover these top guys in the next weeks. So I'd say Philly switch right now. If they can't get a top-tier cornerback, go after a safety. They definitely need that.
Byron Jones, cornerback out of UConn. He's a guy that you're excited about. There's been UConn, even though UConn hasn't had a great football program, as we talked about, they don't really fight a lot of teams in recruiting. Syracuse can beat them, Rutgers can beat them, Penn State, whatnot, in the Northeast. Yet, they know how to send guys. Dwayne Gratz came from the secondary of UConn, went over to the Jacksonville Jaguars, had some positive moments early on in his career so far. What do you like about Byron Jones, and would you take him if Philadelphia has the opportunity?
I would definitely take it. For the simple fact that watching him just standing long jump at the combine, said NFL combine record. He is a trainer, that's a real. That understands that he has control power. He has control power that no other player has ever had out there. He's an NFL record. So when you watch him out there, he's very fluid. He doesn't get caught in bad positions. He's very good with his hands. Great Lego speed. So this young man really helped himself at the NFL combine.
All right, that's coming from Rob Drummond, Syracuse NFL and CFL alum. Myself, Dan Tortora, here with you at Tilted Syracuse, 3019 Erie Boulevard East, right by the Hampton Inn. Make sure you come out and enjoy Tilted Syracuse, the premier sports pub in Central New York, and in my mind, the best looking sports pub. Rob Drummond, myself, Dan Tortora, will be back here once again live with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora talking NFL draft.